Good day again, I'm Abby. In this short presentation, I'll evaluate my classmates' social mobilization program, Unlad Klase. It is anchored on SDG 4, quality education, which focuses on improving classrooms and internet access in public schools and targets students, teachers, parents, and LGUs. They also use tactics such as donation drives, online petitions, NGO partnerships, and even advocacy events. So, using my personal evaluation tool I developed called Spark, which I created for my FMA2 previously. Let's start with what is Spark? Spark stands for strategy, participation, accountability, results, and knowledge. It's a framework I built to assess the effectiveness and social marketing of mobilization programs. So I've also integrated a grading rubric to score each element and provide a comprehensive and fair assessment. I'll be incorporating scoring per criterion based on a total of 100%. So let's begin with the first element, strategy. First, are the objectives clear and aligned with community needs? Absolutely. The program addresses real gaps in classroom infrastructures and digital access. So that's a 10 out of 10. Was it formative research conducted? Of course, general studies and depth ed reports were referenced, but it lacked specific local research or participatory assessment. So that's a 3 out of 5 for me. And is there a theoretical model guiding the behavior change strategy? While it promotes inclusivity and education equity, there's no explicit use of behavior change models like the health belief model. So my score is 3 out of 5. So total for strategy is 16 out of 20. Now we move to participation, which looks at ethical and inclusive practices. First question is, does the program respect cultural and ethical standards? And yes, the messaging is respectful, community centered, and avoids top down assumptions. So that's a 7 out of 7. And next question is, are marginalized populations included? It does well, especially in with low income schools. However, more attention to groups like indigenous students or learners with disabilities would really strengthen this program. So that's a 6 out of 8 for me. And then lastly is our ethical practices like consent and data privacy observed. Yes, consent is practiced. I saw, especially in storytelling, but a comprehensive privacy policy isn't outlined. So that's a 4 out of 5 for me. Total for participation is 17 out of 20% for the ethical and inclusive approach. So, next is accountability, focusing on mobilization engagement. First is our local actors engaged meaningfully. So, yes, teachers, local officials, and barangay leaders are part of the planning and monitoring. So, that's a 7 out of 8 for me. Our strategies adapted to the community context, definitely. The use of both online and grassroots methods fits the hybrid realities of Filipino communities nowadays. So that's a 6 out of 7. Is communication and stakeholder ownership clear? There is evidence of coordination, but clearer role distribution between agencies like DepEd and LGUs would really improve it. So that's a 4 out of 5. Total for accountability is 17 out of 20. And now let's assess results. Especially in terms of evaluations and outcomes, are the indicators smart? They are relevant and actionable, but not fully time bound or quantified, which affects the measurement. So I think that is a 4 out of 5 for me. Is the data collection transparent and participatory? Yes, to some extent, feedback is gathered from the community, but data systems could be more formalized. So that's a 4 out of 5 again. And our outputs and outcomes track. Short term results like donated equipment are reported, but long term learning outcomes aren't measured yet. So that's a 3 out of 5. And the last one would be our limitations acknowledged. Yes, barriers such as limited funding and internet gaps are honestly discussed. So that's a 4 out of 5 with a total for results 15 out of 20. And lastly, we evaluate knowledge, which looks at the adaptability and learning. So are feedback loops in place for continuous improvement? Yes. The program listens to feedback and adjusts accordingly. So that's a 6 out of 7. Are materials and strategies updated based on the monitoring? Yes. But more specific examples of revisions or pivots would help. That's a 4 out of 5 for me. And is there capacity building for sustainability? Definitely. Teachers and students receive training, ensuring the initiative has a lasting impact. So that's a 7 out of 8, total for 17 out of 20. So how did Unlad Klase do overall? Unlad Klase receives an overall score of 82%, which reflects strong community engagement, ethical participation, and adaptability. There are areas to improve, particularly in impact tracking and theoretical grounding, but overall, this program demonstrates sound social mobilization practice. So, in conclusion, Unlad Klase is a meaningful response to educational inequality. What I appreciate most is its multi-sectoral collaboration and grassroots character. Through the Spark lens, it proves to be a promising model for mobilizing change, especially in under-resourced community. This evaluation reminds us that programs must not only inform but also ignite participation, ownership, and transformation. So, thank you very much for listening, and uh, good luck, classmates, for your Unlad class.